Do you guys know what I find funny about this argument people use that, oh, well, you have to blame the government for the fact that we have a lack of resources. You can't blame illegal foreigners. And, granted, it is the government that has failed us, right? It is the government's fault that we don't have enough resources to allocate adequately. But what you guys don't understand is that even if the government did it right, even if they got it right, there would still only be enough resources for South Africans. Like I don't know why you guys always make this argument as if, well, if the government, provided enough resources, yeah, even with your position granted, it would only be enough resources for South Africans. There will never be a time where we will have enough resources for illegal immigrants, let alone millions of illegal immigrants. So like that, your whole argument falls through the roof. Most countries, if not every country around the world, has an obligation to put its citizens first. Now, if we do have resources we can spare for foreigners, for immigrants or illegal immigrants, sure. What you guys don't understand is that regardless of whether the South African government is able to adequately allocate those resources or not, regardless, South Africans should always take first preference. Whether it's the government's fault, illegal immigrants' fault, it doesn't matter. Those resources should be adequately allocated to South Africans first. We should take first preference in our country where we pay tax. Okay? And yes, that includes also immigrants who are here legally and pay tax. So yes, we should hold the government accountable completely. But don't fool yourself into thinking resources are unlimited. Even if the government did its job right, the priority will always be us, the citizens, South Africans.
What's so crazy about this is that we countries with unstable government system, with unstable economies, with corrupt leadership, and all these other problems, we are actually the people that are always so quick to tell South Africans to actually fix their government instead of blaming foreigners. And it's important that you look at it from both sides. Look at it from, the side of foreigners being the problem and the side of the government being the problem, because both are true. Yes, both are true, but you're not going to ignore one side and say the government is the problem or the foreigners are the problem. Both are the same. And what I love about South Africa is they really, really, really love their countries. Just because their country is not working in a certain way, you're not going to find them running. But what are these other people doing? Okay, our government is not working. Our president is so corrupt. You can't make something out of Nigeria. Let me run away. You can't make anything out of Zimbabwe. Let me run away. I don't feel like safe in South Africa, but I'm going to run to South Africa and I'm going to leverage every opportunity that I get. Is that not what they tell themselves? Because by the end of the day, they complain about South Africa being so unsafe, South Africa being not so good for foreigners, but they'll find a way to be in South Africa. They'll still stick there. And it's not like it's so hard for them to leave. No, they can literally leave and go to the next country. They can literally leave and go back to their country. It's not like there is a war in their country. But they still feel the need to actually, say that it's unsafe and complain about everything negative, but still want to be there. Is that not hypocrisy of the highest level? I don't know what it is. Like, if that is not hypocrisy, I don't know. And so many people are doing that. Now, when we look at the side where we're going to blame the government, South Africans are clearly doing that. Like, I've never seen any video that's talking about anti-migration, or any video that's talking about illegal immigration or anything immigration that did not mention the government, that did not mention Ramaphosa, that did not mention Home Affairs, that did not mention corruption in South Africa. I've never seen that. So these people are already addressing that. I think people just want to see what they want to see and want to talk about what they want to talk about, but they don't want to talk about the real issues. The issue here is that, yes, South Africa is falling because of the people that are in power. But at the same time, there are crises that have to be dealt with. Let's say, for example, if there was a snake in your house and it happened that, okay, there are holes in the wall, would you just fix the holes in the wall and leave the snake in the house? You're never going to do that. You're going to kill the snake first and then you're going to fix the walls in the house, right? But Most African countries want to see South Africa fix the holes in the wall and then leave the snake in the house. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. And I'm not saying that, okay, the foreigners are so bad. I mean, sometimes I also want to be a foreigner. You go into a country and it's so beautiful, you want to stay there. South Africa has this effect on everybody. Like, you go to Cape Town and you're like, okay, this is the best sunset I've ever seen. This is the best sunrise I've ever seen. This is the best party I've ever had in my life. And things like that. And you want to stay there. But do you stay? No, that's not your country. It's enough. You went for tourism or whatever. Finish what you went for and leave. You done with your, little visit and leave. And that's what we advocate for every other country that you're visiting. Yes, immigration is okay. Like, if you ever went into a country and you want to stay there, you have to also look at what input are you leaving there. Are you, taking things and you're not giving back? Or are you giving back as much as you're taking? Because by the end of the day, there is no country you'll have more freedom than in your own country. But we Africans, we don't want to see that. We have made it a norm for us to be entitled for what's not ours, for what we did not build. And I think that's what's dragging us so much behind. I had such a discussion on my previous video, and I want us to watch this clip and then we'll come back to this little discussion. Stay tuned.
In terms of the Refugee Act, you're supposed to go to the nearest country. South Africa is not the nearest country to all those countries, even those Ethiopians and Somalians who claim to be running away from their countries. You are not supposed to just run to South Africa. And they can't say they're running away from war if they're coming and they're bringing their men. Where are the women? Which country has wars and only men are running to that country? Because we're seeing an influx of Ethiopians and Somalians who claim to be refugees, and they're coming from way out of this country, crossing several countries that they can go and make home to their home if they are refugees. Why are they all coming to South Africa? Why are refugees setting up businesses in this country? What does the Refugee Act say for them to have tuck shops and want to have mafia groups and so forth? Now we've got spaza shop mafias being run by Ethiopians and Somalians who claim to be refugees, who are men. What kind of refugees are here terrorizing the locals who want to open spaza shops? Those are not refugees, those are criminals. And every time South Africans make a call about this, we are told that people have problems in their country. If they have problems in their country, you can't make South Africa a solution to countries having problems. South Africa is a country that has to take care of its own problems. South Africa is a country that currently has the highest unemployment rate in the world. You can't say because 50,000 people in Congo or wherever are having problems with their government, we become the home to those people. Where are these people going to be living? That's where we have squatter camps and informal settlements. Where they're going to school, those same schools that our children are not getting spots in. Where are they going to be getting healthcare? In those same hospitals where our grannies now have to wait for hours and hours in queues and sleep on beds and sleep on the floor instead of sleeping on beds and giving birth every 5 minutes. We can't have a system that allows refugees to just come. Everyone can be a refugee in this country. We are not a country that has enough resources to take care of its own people. How are we now extending an olive branch to everyone in the world to say, come in? Yes, South Africa signed some United Nations treaties years ago, but everything can be reviewed looking at the current situation. We don't have a cap on the number of refugees that we can have. In the UK and other places, they say limited to 10,000 people. Why are we the only country where there's an unlimited number of refugees that can just walk in? Will we have a future for this country? Where are our children going to go to? If they can't open a spaza shop because it's run by Ethiopians, they can't go to Point Road because it's owned by Nigerians, you can't get a certain building because it's owned by Somalians, you can't do a certain thing because those jobs belong to people from Congo. What kind of country functions that way?
I always see Africans, and that's why they love Malema, right? Saying they dream of Africa that has one passport, has one currency, has one, an Africa that is just running like the same country because we are one. And that will never happen if African countries do not take individual responsibility. It is never going to happen if we continue putting our problems in one country and saying we want one country to fix that for us. Why is South Africa having so many refugees when there are these other countries that could actually have refugees as well? We praise a country like Rwanda so much for its environment and organization and all these things, but what has it done for other African countries? We praise other countries. I've seen refugees in Uganda, I've seen refugees in Kenya, but we praise other African countries. What have they done for Africa? Nothing. And these same countries, they want Africa to be one Africa, while they're putting nothing on the table. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. We've been a continent that just abandoning one country. We've been a continent that just pressuring one country. We've been a continent that sometimes you talk to someone, and I don't know why I find myself in spaces like this. I don't even start the conversation. Like, I'm just sitting down, and then all of a sudden someone says, if you don't have a job in South Africa, you're paid. And why do you want to be paid free money if you're not working? Questions like that. You should be asking yourself, why do you want what South Africa has? I don't even know if people are paid in South Africa if they don't have jobs, or if they don't have, they are given free money. I don't know if it happens, because I've seen so many beggars on the streets that look healthy. And to be honest, I would understand why they're on the streets, really. For somebody that has lived in Kenya and has been through some East African countries and then has gone to South Africa, I would understand if I saw a jobless person with a cap on the street. I would really, really, really understand. And you want to be that? You want to be that kind of a person? And you feel like that is the dream, right? But you don't want to work. You don't want to see your country working. But you still want to occupy that space in South Africa. People are mad, and I think we just need to work on ourselves instead of putting so much energy on, talking about xenophobia and how xenophobia is bad and why other African countries should not entertain South Africans. We should actually figure out how we are going to fix our countries and make sure that we are not being a problem for other countries. We should actually try and figure out how we are going to live peacefully. And some of these issues that we have in these countries is because of tribalism. It's because of our greedy leaders. It's because of how we still think that, we need to listen to some people that do not want to benefit our communities and our societies. We put ourselves in places where we don't want to grow past that. And then by the end of the day, the colonizers are laughing and saying, look at them. They can't even lead themselves. But how can we defend ourselves if that is what is so evident we can't lead? And by the end of the day, we are going to say that, this is the West, white supremacy, or all this is happening because the US did this and they did that. To some point, yes, some stories are true, but also we have to look at how responsible we were for the problem. How our leaders were so fast to accept certain thing that was going to lead us into that place. And how we contributed in voting such people, and how we didn't hold them accountable. So by the end of the day, before we take all our problems into one country, make sure that one country is holding all our refugees. Remember, when you fill a balloon so much with air, it bursts by the end of the day. So we don't want to do that to South Africa. We're not going to fill South Africa with everything until it starts overflowing. We don't want to do that. We make sure that we have another South Africa, like 10 of that, so that we can fix our continent. Otherwise, we can't be one Africa united in South Africa when we could have united like in the rest of Africa. I don't know, what are your thoughts about this? Let me know down below in the comment section. And also, if you're watching me for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and also don't forget to like this video. We also do have a membership, so if you want to continue supporting us, you can gain the membership. See you on my next video.